that don't know me, I'm Phyllis with the Floyd County Board of Education Benefits. I have with me Chuck Shaw with Garner. They are our broker. So we are here to answer some questions concerning the open enrollment that we are in. We are currently in our second week of open enrollment, but there are a lot of questions that have come across our table, and we wanted to go ahead and discuss those with you today. So the first thing I'm going to ask Chuck to talk about is why we are having in-person open enrollments.
Good question, Phyllis. So the reason we're doing in-person open enrollments this year is because, one, we've not done it in 3 years. So it is a really important thing to do once, at least every 3 to 4 years, to have in-person what we call active enrollments. So this year, this has been an active enrollment where we have asked every employee of Floyd County Schools to attend a benefit counselor or 10-day session with a benefit counselor. So far, to date, we've had great response to that. A ton of appointments, a ton of good feedback from the counselors and from the employees that the meetings have gone well. And really the idea of that is to make sure they understand the benefits. One, this year we had some new benefits that were being offered, specifically new benefits from a life insurance, disability, as well as the critical illness, accident, and a new benefit, hospital indemnity plan.
Right.
We wanted to make sure everybody understood what those benefits were, and also the fact that some of those benefits are richer benefits than what they had before, and they're also at a lower cost point. So it was just a good time to reset, make sure everybody knew what was offered, and also understand that there was a slight increase to the medical insurance premiums this year from state health. So to make sure, with all that being said, everybody knew exactly where they stood, and we're able to cover all our bases during the active enrollment.
Awesome. So we did want to talk about, we've had some people reach out to us and say, hey, I've missed my appointment, I've been out sick. So I do want you to know that today we have a floater gentleman that can go from school to school. So if you have missed your appointment, reach out to the bookkeeper. We have a floater today and tomorrow, and they can come to you at the school. So that's what they're here for. Chuck, we've had a lot of questions about when I sit down with the counselor, can I go back in and change my elections? They wanted to go home and talk to their spouse or whatever.
Great question. So yes, the answer is yes, they can definitely go back in. The idea is that they meet with a benefit counselor, they elect their benefits, but if they want to go back in, open enrollment actually will continue through the end of next week. I believe it ends November the 3rd.
Correct.
So we follow the state health open enrollment calendar, which basically is, I believe it opened on October 16th and it lasts through November 3rd.
Correct.
So benefit counselors the first 2 weeks, which we're ending that today and tomorrow. Then next week, open enrollment is still available for employees to go in, use the link that they got from their original appointment with the benefit counselor. They can go back in and make any changes they want to make at that time.
Okay. And one thing I did want to mention with that is we have people trying to go back into Benefit Connector to change those benefits. So another reason we're meeting with a counselor is because we moved to a new platform. So once you meet with the counselor and you have completed everything, you will actually receive a link and it will ask for your PIN number. One thing people don't realize is their PIN number is the last 4 of their social and the last 2 of their birth year. So if you have any issues with getting in on that, just remember the last 4 of your social and the last 2 of your birth year.
Yeah, and one thing on that, Phyllis, just to make sure, that new platform is a new benefits administration system.
Right.
Benefit Connector was the one we've used up until this year. So if you go into Benefit Connector, you can do that, but you're only going to be able to view your current benefits.
Correct.
It will not allow you to conduct open enrollment to elect benefits for next year, starting January 1.
That is
You can
correct.
only do that in the new system.
Perfect. So another thing is all the elections you are making now, those benefits will be available as of 1/1/2024. So our benefits are actually on a calendar year and not the school year.
Correct.
So Chuck, I know we are getting rid of Trustmark and we have brought in there's a lot of confusion about, can we take Trustmark?
Right.
So can you explain
Good
that
question.
for us?
So the Trustmark policy that's currently in place, and it's been in place for 3 years now, it is a universal life insurance policy. It's a very good policy. A number of employees have purchased that policy over the last 3 years. If you want to keep that policy with Trustmark, yes, Once the school system, basically at the end of, well, really in December,
Correct.
will no longer payroll deduct that on your behalf. So at that time, if you want to take that policy and keep it as yours starting in January, you'll be able to do that. Trustmark will send you a basically information to be able to sign up for that as your own individual policy. At that time, you pay for it from home. It doesn't come out of your paycheck. That's if you want to keep it.
Does the cost go up on Trustmark
It does
when
not.
it moves?
The cost is exactly the same as it is now. So no increase on that at all. You just keep the coverage. Instead of it being payroll deducted, you're paying for it directly now.
Okay.
So if you don't want to keep it, we're offering a new policy from Chubb called a lifetime benefit term policy. It's not a UL policy. It's a term policy. It's got some different language in there. It's also guaranteed, just like the UL policy was with Trustmark. The reason we change, it's got a better overall benefit, the fact that you can have it for a much longer period of time at the same benefit amount that you have now.
Right.
So it was a change that was made to benefit, and also it's a little bit lower in price. But if an employee wants to keep their Trustmark policy and purchase the new lifetime benefit term as a payroll deducted policy, they can do that as well. They sure can.
Can you talk a little bit about the care part of the new policy?
Yes. So both the policies, the old Trustmark policy has a long-term care benefit built into it, meaning a portion of the death benefit that you currently have in your life insurance policy can basically be carried forward toward long-term care needs.
Okay.
The same applies to the new Chubb policy. The lifetime benefit term has a built-in rider where basically the long-term care benefit will be there. If you want to use some of your death benefit toward long-term care, you can do that. Basically, it does that, and it will reduce down slightly the amount of life insurance that you have, but over time, it'll build that back up.
Okay.
So it's a great benefit. It's basically a hybrid policy where you've got long-term care built into a life insurance policy that you have through the school system that's payroll deducted.
And that price does not increase.
That does not. That price is guaranteed to stay the same price no matter how long you have it. That's correct.
So I know on some of the other policies we have at certain ages, the coverage cost
That's
drops.
right.
Can you talk about?
Yeah, so on our true supplemental life, like our term policy that everybody has access to, that's payroll deducted, at age 65, that reduces down to 65%. At age 75, it reduces down to 50% of the original benefit amount. So that is a very normal benefit that's built in. So basically, as you get older, the benefit reduces. Now, your premium reduces as well, but remember that policy really is there for you as an active employee because you can port it and you could port it or you can convert it. But if you convert it, it's going to cost more. So the price goes up, and portability will basically be there if you're healthy enough to port it at that time.
Okay.
So the difference there is that policy does have reduction in benefits at age 65 and 75, where the new policy from Chubb, the lifetime benefit term, does not have that. It basically will stay at the guaranteed amount now up to age 100, and some policies, depending on when you purchase it, up to age 120.
Okay. On the new policy, does the benefit amount drop?
It does not.
Okay.
That benefit, the beauty of that policy, the benefit amount will never drop. You're guaranteed to get the full benefit amount.
Okay. Up to 100.
Up to 100, correct.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Also, so now I want to talk about Flex Care. Our FSA account, everything usually transfers over, but you do have to re-elect Flex Care every year. That is one that does not automatically roll over. So just remember, if you have not met with a counselor yet, you really do need to meet with a counselor and get that, because if you have FSA as of right now, it will not automatically renew as of January 1st. Another thing I want to talk about is I've had a lot of people come into my office and say, Phyllis, I've got $200 left on my FSA account and it doesn't roll over. You are crazy if you let any money whatsoever lose on your FSA. There are FSA stores. You can go online and look. You can go to Kroger's Pharmacy. You can load your buggy up with Band-Aids or whatever, anything that is medical, and purchase things that you need for your house. It's not only for doctor's appointments and prescriptions and stuff like that. So if you have any money left on your FSA account that's going to expire on December 31st, go in somewhere and use that money. Everybody can use Band-Aids. If you wear contacts, contact solutions covered on it. So don't ever let your money on your FSA go to waste, okay? So we've talked about life insurance and the age. Another thing I want to talk about is our wellness benefits. Chuck, you want to handle that for me?
Yeah, through state health, there are wellness benefits. I believe it's called Share Care.
Share care.
Basically, what they're asking you to do as part of state health is to participate in online, basically screenings, questions, just things to make sure you're taking care of yourself.
Right.
By answering those questions and doing those certain things throughout the year, you get credits through Share Care to offset. It could be offsetting deductibles on your medical plans.
Right.
So depending on what plan you have, if you have the bronze, the silver, or the gold HRA plan, it will reduce that deductible. The same with the HMO or the high deductible plan. So keep that in mind because it's an easy way to offset. They don't give you cash per se, but it basically will give you credits. I think there's also a way if you don't take the credits, you can get a Visa,
It's a Visa
gift card. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's $250 depending on what you
too.
do. So when I always ask employees if they're doing that, most are participating in that, but a lot of people don't know about that.
Right.
But definitely look into that through state health. And there's a good site on the state health website to go on there and look up Share Care, and it'll walk you through exactly what you need to get those benefits.
That's true. And so just a couple weeks ago when we were having our meeting at your office talking about our benefits and stuff, it hit me that I haven't done my wellness checks on critical illness and accident. So since I have 5 people in my family, I went in and I did my wellness for my whole family this year. They also told me I could go back 1 year.
That's right.
So I went back 1 year. So I got the wellness benefit within 7 days. I had a check in my mailbox. So check out if you have critical illness, make sure that you go in and do your wellness check with that too. And also on accident.
Yep.
That is money out there that is yours. So let's use that.
Definitely.
What else do we have? We've already talked about that. So now I want to talk about state health and why the counselors are recording state health into the new portal.
Good question. So this is the first year we've done that before. So what we're trying to do, and I know it's confusing because
Correct.
state health is housed in ADP's state health software, basically, where we go into a separate site, we log in, we do our state health elections. This year we're asking you to mimic that election in the Celerix site with the benefit counselor. The reason for that, we want to be able to track the benefits that you've elected in your medical locally in the school system for a number of different reasons, but to be able to reconcile bills, making sure we know exactly what coverages you have versus having to download a report out of ADP, we'll be able to download that report out of Celerix, and it'll be a much easier process to make sure we know not only the school system, but also Gallagher to know what benefits you have when you call us. We'll be able to look that up. Right now, the only way we could know that is go into ADP and look up it in the system there. So that's the main reason, to be able to track it, access it, and then year to year, we'll know exactly what you have. So when you make changes, we'll be able to track that in the new system.
And another thing I found out through my meeting with my benefit counselor is it gave me a whole view of all of my benefits.
Right.
Instead of, let's say I have the HMO that's $507. That didn't show on there. So you think your benefits are only this amount of money, but
Right.
truly they're an additional whatever your state health cost is.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Because
it gave a whole view of your benefits.
you're paying a portion, but then state health is paying a large portion of your medical costs.
Correct.
So you see actually what your cost is versus what the actual overall cost is.
Absolutely.
It's a good breakdown to be able to see what that looks like.
Absolutely. So one thing I did want to mention too is that there is an increase with state health this year. For 2023, state health increased the employer portion that we pay for you guys, but it also, this starting in 2024, there is a employee side increase in that. So we, of course, we have to pass that on to y'all. That is state law. And then so with our other benefits, we tried to find some also that had the richer benefits, but those costs have come down for us. So we're trying to offset it. It's not going to offset it all the way around, but it is going to help.
Right.
So that's one thing that we wanted to do. Your new benefits that you elect during open enrollment will start showing up in your December check because we do deduct 1 month prior. So keep that in mind, except for FlexCare. FlexCare is on the actual month. So if you have a new renewed amount of FlexCare, it will actually start on your January check.
That's correct.
One thing I would like for you to talk about, Chuck, is retirement and state health and how important open enrollment is with that.
And we've answered a number of questions from folks that are considering retirement either this year or sometime next year. The key to that is for the open enrollment prior to you deciding to retire or not retire, whatever that may be. The key is to make sure the benefits that you have are the benefits that you want to take with you into retirement, specifically the medical.
Right.
Because, and not only the plan, but who's on the plan. So we've heard horror stories where, I wanted to take my spouse onto medical for retirement purposes because they can go with you through retirement on the state health plans. But if you don't have that spouse on the plan, when you're ready to retire, it's too late. You can't add them at that qualifying date when you retire. So the key is the open enrollment prior to retirement, make sure that you have them on the plan. We really recommend doing it a year in advance.
Right.
So if you're thinking about doing retirement next year, let's say this upcoming January 1, 2025.
Right.
If you were going to retire then, we would say do that during this year's open enrollment. Get
Correct.
those people and the plans that you want to elect through state health. The other side of that is the local benefits. You can also keep your dental and your vision insurance with you as well to keep that through retirement. The other benefits will be up to you if you want to do that through the insurance carriers directly.
Right.
But as part of a benefit to the retirees, you can keep your dental and your vision through the school system's plans, just like the plans that we have now in place through MetLife and through Superior Vision.
Right.
And then obviously the state health plan of your choice, depending on what plan you have, just make sure you've got who you want on that plan and the plan that you want to take into retirement. It's very important.
That is true, but just keep in mind too that if you keep your dental and vision with you through retirement, which you can definitely do, just know that that does not come out of your retirement
That's right.
check.
That is separate, and you'll get a bill for that through WEX, which is the company that provides retirement billing on our behalf.
Right. All right. So that's the main questions that we have received during open enrollment. You still have a week to do open enrollment. One thing I would like to make sure you guys understand that if you do not meet with a counselor, what you have with Benefit Connector will roll over, but we have seen instances where some of the stuff didn't pull correctly. So I really, really want to encourage everybody to meet with a counselor. If you can, if you haven't got an appointment or whatever, reach out to your bookkeepers. They have my email. They're going to let me know if anybody needs an appointment. And like I said, we have a floater today and tomorrow that can go around to school, from school to school. It's very important, guys. And just in my year in HR, I have seen people that thought they had coverage that didn't, and they had coverage that they didn't even know about. So
another good thing, Phyllis, is to make sure they update their beneficiaries.
Absolutely.
So always during open enrollment, it's always a good idea to update your beneficiaries. This year in active enrollment, make sure the beneficiary that you have on your life insurance is who you want that money to go to.
Awesome.
So that's really important. And then also, if they don't see a benefit counselor today or tomorrow, they can always go in next week, as we mentioned, in what we call self-service. Go into the site, look at it, make sure you've got what you want elected correctly. If you have questions about that, obviously, you can call Phyllis or you can call us at Gallagher, and we can make sure that we go in the system and make sure that your elections are correct. Because like we said, you've got until November the 3rd to make your final elections during open enrollment.
And so we will be sending out the link to the new platform. We'll send that link out. And then, so the one thing you'll need to remember is your PIN number, which is the last 4 of your social and the last 2 of your birth year.
Good deal.
Thank you. We appreciate it.